My name is Jecho and I am originally from the Philippines. I moved in Australia 8 years ago and I studied a couple of degrees here in Australia. First one was a Bachelor of Nursing degree, and then the recent one which I just finished was Bachelor of Film and Television. So yeah, my story is more of like being able to have the option to switch careers in Australia. Jecho, for someone who doesn't know me, I'm very passionate when it comes to meeting new people despite being shy and awkward. I try to break that little bit of anxiety. At the same time, I am also a visual effects artist slash registered nurse. What I know about myself with regards to values, and it's about just being able to be persistent and consistent with your goals. So I think that's Jecho for me in general. Adelaide is much more cheaper compared to Melbourne, Perth and Sydney. So it was a definitely quick choice for me straight away to just choose Adelaide. By the time I finished uni in the Philippines, this was in 2008, I realized that establishing a nursing career would be really difficult because at that time there was a pool of graduates for nurses. And so I told my parents that if I stay here, there's gonna be nothing for me. With Asian families, it's always been about academics, and art is never considered academic. So when I first broke out the news to them that I'm gonna be working part-time, and because I want to be able to try and break into the film industry, they were not so supportive at all. There were a lot of doubts and questions from them. At the same time, I made my parents, my family understand that this is just gonna be something that I would try. And luckily I was able to finish it and have a job, and now they're even way more prouder. And just last week I had my first credit in a film, so that made my mom cry, being able to see my name on screen. So yeah, I think they're even more proud that I was able to achieve what I was intending to 4 or 5 years ago. You can record as much as you like. Anything for the B-roll, man.
Thanks, bro. Thanks, bro.
That's what fills the gaps in between.
Yes, sir.
For the degree of Bachelor of Film and Television, Jecho Bregoli.
I've always known to just go and push myself to become a nurse, and which I was able to do. I've never really thought about getting into films. Well, I love films in general, but working in films was kind of like some impossible thing to do, especially because my mindset was like films are made in Hollywood. But then when I used to work in aged care in a nursing home, there was this dying elderly patient that I had, and I met his wife at the time that he was dying, and his room was always filled with pictures of them traveling around the world as a young couple. And so I've always made sure to bring that up to have a conversation with his wife and being able to reminisce those joyful days they had as a couple. What struck me the most when she told me was that while someone is still young and someone has all the energy to do a lot of things, do it, because by the time you get to your deathbed, there's nothing that you can really do but just reminisce those memories. So that struck me really hard. Fast forward 4 years later, unexpectedly now I'm working in a visual effects studio, so it was really a really good decision to switch careers. So yeah, I think the idea of just being able to expand or broaden or just strengthening their qualifications education wise, to to make them more competent globally. I think that is one of the most important factors that makes a lot of students get out of their comfort zone and just study overseas, like Australia, New Zealand, Canada. And plus, of course, there's a lot of difference when it comes to salary. And I think that if you work in a Western country, the salaries would always compensate what you've worked hard for. I think my long-term goal would be able to direct my own film. I know it's kind of like a long way there and a little bit of hard work to do, but who knows, in time, just continue with consistency and being persistent, we'll be able to do that in the future. So looking forward to it. Going back, just reflecting on everything that I have experienced with university, I think I enjoyed my time because being able to meet different groups of people, individuals in university and sharing this creativity, because I myself, I'm a very creative person, and by the time I got first day back again into university, that triggered my creative side. And just being able to meet different kinds of people was such a good experience that I was able to learn differently and was able to, learn something from them that made me discover that, oh, this is also something that I like or I don't like. So overall, the university experience was very rewarding and I would say very fulfilling, and I'm glad I did it.
That is a good way to end it. That's all my questions. Thank you for your time, Jecho.
Thanks so much, man. Thank you. God's help. Okay, the B-roll.
Yes.
I was always anxious, even doing small little things, getting from one place to another place. I used to get lost so many times. Your way of living changes once you go to another country. I did masters in hospital administration in India. So I wanted to do and pursue the same field further. So that's when I decided that I would be going for this course. And I'm lucky.